Hey guys, guten Morgen aus Deutschland, good morning from Germany. I'm getting an early start today. Today is Friday, the 15th of September, because I went to bed early last night, but even if I had to work today, I would have to get up at 5. The reason why I'm off today is because I have to take some overtime hours. Too many have accumulated, and I'm also going to be off next Friday. In 2 weeks from now, the other receptionist will have another 2 week vacation, and that is because she's been sick a lot during the past 2 years, and so she still has her 6 weeks of vacation that are allotted to us every year. And so I'm gonna have to fill in for 2 weeks in 2 weeks from now on. And so I'm off today and next Friday. I'm really happy about it because I've been spending too much time at work with all the guests we've been having, and received as an email the announcements of the next few weeks' guests, and it just doesn't want to end. And while it's fun, it's very exhausting, like I always keep pointing out. And it's taking time and energy away from me I would like to spend on different things. But hey, nothing new here. Yesterday, on my way home from work, I was waiting at the bus stop and something hit me. You guys know I've been talking about how mind-boggling it is to me how newer generations are hooked on staring into their mobile devices. And the reason why I'm saying staring is because they don't just look and then look away. Their eyes are glued to their devices. And I've also noticed changes in how elongated their necks are from, bending over and staring into their devices. And the reason why I see so many of them is because in the mornings I'm waiting at my bus stop, and a lot of buses go by from different bus stops at Central Station, and so I see the buses from the side, and so I see those kids hunched over, looking at their or staring at their into their devices. And yesterday I saw something that totally blew me out of the water. I had never seen anything like it. And that was, I was waiting at the bus stop, and there was this young lady, approximately in her late teens, maybe early 20s. And she had earbuds in, and she was talking to somebody. And as she was talking to the other person, she looked at her reflection in the bus, on the bus, the side of the bus, and it actually looked like she was having a conversation with somebody else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yes, she was talking to somebody else that was listening to her via the phone, but it looked like she was having a conversation with her own reflection on the side of the bus. And she seemed so happy with her reflection. It was so strange. And it went on for a few minutes. I think I was there for like 20 minutes. And the entire time, that bus did not move. The bus driver had gone on break. And so she was standing there, not even 3 feet away from that bus, talking to herself. It was surreal to me. For somebody that grew up during a time where none of us had a cell phone, or more TV channels than I think 3 at the time, or spending most of my childhood outside, not looking into any devices. This was so surreal to me. I almost whipped out my cell phone to start filming her, but I didn't want to violate her privacy. But she was in public talking to herself in form of the reflection of herself on the bus. It was crazy. Speaking of crazy, I've been meaning to mention that what is up with velocity dancing? When you go on YouTube, sometimes you get recommended shorts, YouTube shorts, and then there's these people that dance really fast and that line up so many crazy moves after another. And while I admire them for their physical fitness, has anybody realized, besides me, because I haven't seen anybody mention it, that these people change their facial expressions as fast as they change their positions? And it is scary to me, to somebody like, that perceives the energy of people and that is very sensitive to the expressions on other people's faces and the tone in their voice and stuff like that. Like, to give you an example, my team leader has the habit, or no, the fact that she's not aware of it, that she's not conscious of it, that when she talks to people, the muscles in her forehead crinkle up. They're very tense, and that makes her look really mean. And I haven't mentioned it to her because, she claims she's been through all kinds of management classes and she's been with the company for over 20 years. And she has a doctor title, and yet she's not conscious enough to realize that she looks hostile every time she has a conversation with somebody. And so I didn't bring it to her attention, but she once mentioned it. She said, I have to work on that. And then she proceeded or continued to do it in the same conversation. And I said, okay, you know what you just mentioned about the facial expression? You're still doing it. And she goes, oh my gosh, I can't stop. And so I wonder if these people that do velocity dancing are aware of the fact that it looks almost unhuman what they're doing with their faces. Like, again, I get it. I mean, I admire them for their physical fitness, and most of them have a feeling for rhythm, and so they move with the song that is playing, like in tune, but very fast. Like, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you want me to show you an example. Maybe I pick out a clip or two. But I find that so surreal how fast they change the expressions on their faces, and I doubt that it's consciously, because they're focused on doing the dance moves. You know what I'm saying? Last night I had to get away from all the, surreal things that are happening, like when you're in public and you see how people are acting. I can't relate that much anymore. I mean, I'm having an increasingly harder time to live in the city because you are just confronted with so many people, with so many voices, with so many children screaming and with their parents just ignoring them. Or it's also kind of sticking out to me lately how people do not appreciate their pets. They have to walk them in the city. I mean, they can't just let them go run in the woods like we could when we were in Virginia. And so they walk their dogs and they're on their phones and they don't pay attention to their pets. And I have this week not seen one single human that has paid any kind of attention to the dog they were walking in the city or in the park. I don't know if that's a new thing or if it just stuck out to me that way. And so because I needed a break from the craziness at work and what I saw on my way home from work, I watched the movie Defending My Life yesterday, again for the 10,000th time. That's a movie with Meryl Streep and Albert Brooks. And Shirley MacLaine also makes a brief appearance in it in the Past Lives Pavilion. And I absolutely love that movie because it's about reviewing your life, right? Like looking back at your life and seeing, were you acting out of fear? Do you still have a lot of fear that you need to work on? Or will you be allowed to move on? And I just love both characters, Meryl Streep and Albert Brooks, and how they had chemistry with each other and how they were living different lives, like before they died. Of course, the movie is about that stage after death in what was it called? Judgment City. But I love so much about the movie. I mean, that song alone in the beginning, right before he had his accident, the song "Something's Coming" by Barbara Streisand is playing, and I've had that song on repeat one on my cell phone on my way to and from work because it's so upbeat. I just love it, and so that song I love, and then the way Meryl Streep and Albert Brooks interact, and also I love Albert Brooks lawyer. I love him. I also loved him in Men in Black. I just like the way he talks, but he's also dead by now. But yeah, I needed a little bit of time away from reality, and that movie always does it for me. That movie is just like the Bridges of Madison County with Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep. One of my all-time favorites, and every once in a while I watch it just to get away from reality. You know, it's about the afterlife, and I love how they put that into action. You know, what might happen once we die, and I really liked it, and I can only recommend it for those of you that love movies that are not action packed and full of negativity. I mean, that movie really, cracked me up and made me think every time I watched it, and I can only recommend it. So if you're into these kinds of movies, go ahead and watch it. You won't regret it, I hope. Uh, and if you do watch it, let me know what you think. I have another anecdote from our HR guy, the one that hired me 5 years or over 5 years ago. So we were very busy this week. We had a full house. All the conference rooms were full, and we had a lot of visitors from the States and from the United Kingdom. And so it's like a beehive on the first floor where I am, where the lobby is, and the reception, and the conference rooms, and the coffee kitchen, right? And so lots of going on. And so here comes HR guy again, because he comes to the reception a lot, because we're like info central, and so he's a busybody. He always needs to know everything. And so he comes to the reception a lot. And so this time he came. He puts his elbows on my counter and he goes, um, I hope you're going to enjoy yourself next week. And I said, why is that? What is going on next week? And I know we have another full house. And he goes, well, I hope you enjoy your vacation. And I said, dude, I just had one in July, August, and I'm going to have my next one in October. And so, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, a vacation from me. I'm going to be in the States next week. And, he's going to see what's going on at headquarters. And so he'll be gone. And so, yeah, so he felt the need to make a joke out of that. And it is kind of funny. I mean, if I could film him and actually show you the expressions on his face when he does these things, then it would probably be more lively. But he's just one of the constants in my life when I'm at work, because he's been there for so long. A lot of people have left during the pandemic, and a lot of things happen, private things that made people quit their jobs or move to different cities or even to different countries. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and he's just one of the constants in my life. He was one of the first, or he was the first person to get back with me when I applied for that job, which was so strange how that happened. I don't know if I ever told you guys. So I'm in the States, and I already knew that I'm going to leave the States after 11 years. And so I'm already checking, what my hometown in Germany, how it has changed, what the employers are, or what I need to do to get my national ID updated and stuff like that, right? And so I'm sitting there on the computer, and on Facebook Messenger, a friend of mine from Germany contacted me, and he said, hey, are you still in the States? And I said, yeah, but it's so strange you're contacting me right now because I'm preparing to come back. And he goes, well, have you found a job yet? And I said, no, not quite yet because I won't be able to have a job interview until I get back. But I've been, looking around. And he says, well, how about this company? And he gives me the name of the company. And I said, never heard of it. Where is it? And he goes, outside of the city. And they're looking for a receptionist. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, and you got to speak English and German. And I was like, interesting. And so I didn't do anything because I knew I wouldn't be able to show up for a job interview. And so months later, I was actually back in Germany. Then the second time was after I'd gotten registered with the Labor Department. Um, they sent me a job offer from that company. And I'm like, wow, that is so odd. That's the same company. Maybe that's a sign. And so I finally applied for the job. And so that guy, the HR guy, was the first one to contact me. And they invited me for a job interview right away. And the job interview was with him and the team leader that turned out to be such a biatch. And so he's been from the get-go, from like that. It was like 2 to 3 months after I'd gotten back from the States that company contacted me, and I had already waived 2 jobs. One was at a hotel downtown that would have been evening shift, and I don't like being out when it's dark, especially not with all the people we have in the city from Syria and all kinds of countries. And they hang out at night, and I don't need to be out there, when I'm in my 50s. And so I waived that job, and that hotel owner actually came by my house, and I saw him through the people. I saw him through the people, and I said to my sister, "That's the guy. That's the guy I had the job interview with for that hotel job. I'm not going to answer the door." And so she opened the door, and he said he just wanted to know if he could say anything else to get me to take that job. Because I had already told him I'm not taking the job, so he shows up at my house. So that was so creepy that I would never consider working for that hotel. And then there was another job I had waived. I don't know, but that was the third job, and that was actually the job that I decided taking. But if that HR guy had warned me of how crazy the team leader is, I wouldn't have accepted it. And we've had that discussion several times over the years when I said to him, why did you not warn me? Like every time we have like a stressful situation and he shows up at the reception, I'm like, I'm in this position just because of you. And he goes, why is that? And I go, yeah, because you hired me. And he said, look, I needed to fill the position. You seemed like a good fit, so there you are. And I said, yeah, but it's all your fault. And we always make fun of that, or today, like later on, he showed, not today, yesterday, I mean, it's 5 a.m. or 5:30 by now. But yesterday he showed up another time at the reception, and he seemed kind of tense. And I said, "What's going on with you? How are you doing? Are you holding up?" And he said, "Yeah, I got sunshine shining out my ass." He's funny. Hey guys, it's Saturday morning or almost noon, and I completely forgot to upload or finish even the voice recording from yesterday. And so so I've been thinking a lot, concerning work, because it's really it's so it's draining my mind and my energy because there are so many people there. It's the job. I mean, it's only logical. But just this week, so many Americans and English people, and of course my colleagues from the home office are coming to, to show presence, so that there's not even more talk about our location being closed down, which it's not going to be. But so there's a lot of people there, and of course they come to the reception. I mean, if situations were reversed, But then there are so many small things going on that you can't really plan ahead for. Like we have catering that's being brought and set up, and then we have to make sure that everything is done the right way, and we have to refresh beverages in the conference rooms and in a mobile refrigerator and stuff like that. So there's so much going on as it is, and then you have to get everybody a badge, and then they leave at different times because they take different flights back to their home town, and so um, there are shuttles that we have to call that have to show up. They show up at different times, and then you start looking for these people, and they're not in the conference room where they're supposed to be. And then you run around and say, "Hey, the shuttle driver is here. If you see him, let him know to pack his stuff and leave. The shuttle driver is waiting." And so it's just so much on my mind until I finally leave, and then my energy is gone. I have no way of regenerating it on my way home from work, because there's a lot of people there and they all talk loudly, and then there's the bus where there's no AC on. It's just too much, and I need to make changes in my life so that I don't have to experience that anymore. But you have to be in situations that bother you or that go against your grain, so that you can say, "Hey, I don't want to experience that anymore." And so yeah, so today's Saturday. I'm doing my laundry right now. I'm gonna take down the trash, and then I'm gonna cook myself something for lunch, and I'm just plugging along, you guys, and whenever I'm thinking about something, I'm going to share it with you. Maybe it's interesting to you. And so, yeah, I'm going to go for now and upload this. And so I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you're doing all right. And I will see you in my next one. Bye. Tschüssi.